While some people like to fake certain illnesses behind the comfort of their own screen, there are some people out there that also like to fake disabilities and illnesses in front of people out on the streets. In today's video, we're going to have a look at the top 5 people that faked certain things like those in real life until they got caught on camera.
Give me money and to get some eat. Please help, but spare my wheelchair today and all my coins. Somebody take it.
Gary Thompson right here is known in Kentucky for being an absolute faker. He goes around in his wheelchair begging people for money even though he is more than capable to walk around just fine, into making people feel guilty and handing over their very hard-earned money, who apparently liked the fact that he got caught.
You can't, I thought you couldn't get out of your...
I can walk a little bit.
Now, one of the stranger things about this guy is he does actually have a degree in something, that being in speech pathology, which makes it easy for him to impersonate a mentally handicapped person. Now, it seems like a lot of the people who are from the Kentucky state know about this infamous beggar, but that's not to say there are some people that don't, and yet they still hand over their money. But he acts very casual about the whole thing while being interviewed on this news channel. He then says he has to go because he needs to go and make some money.
My bead boy, I'm just playing. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta make some money.
Now, you might be wondering to yourself, how much money can he possibly be making through doing this? And I think you'd be quite surprised by the fact that a lot of beggars that do this type of stuff actually make some pretty decent money. Later on in the video, we're going to watch some people that drive away in actually quite a nice Mercedes. But in Thompson's case here, he claims that he makes over 6 figures a year, and that being cash, so he claims it's also now tax-free. So not only does he steal your money and does it while impersonating someone that is mentally handicapped, but he doesn't pay any tax on that, puts no money back into the community. And despite all of this, I know I get a lot of comments saying that, oh, if that was me, I wouldn't give him any money. It's quite obviously a scam, but I guess it always goes back to the argument of why would you expect anyone who would fake something like this? Now, they actually go undercover with a camera to ask him what is his background story, you know, see how well he can play up to the act. And this is what he had to say in all of that.
What's wrong with you?
Mine was hit by a truck when 9-year-old, but I know hurt that bad. Just a little bit. Left side hit me preset.
So what are you asking for?
Money for
Money?
You're really Gary Thompson.
No.
Yeah. My name is John Bull with Wave. Been watching you. You're the guy, you're the bogus beggar guy that makes $100,000 a year, right?
No.
Yeah, you are. You got a degree in speech pathology?
No. Don't want to be on camera. I break it. I will break it.
You can't, I thought you couldn't get out of your...
I can walk a little bit.
I know you can walk. I got video of you walking. I know.
A little bit.
Gary, don't you feel bad doing this, faking it like this when there are real people out here?
I'm not faking nothing.
Damn, my boy really got that level 100 Skyrim speech. Now, in this next one, it doesn't always have to be necessarily disabilities, because this woman right here, pretending to be pregnant and with a child, begs for money on the street before conveniently hopping in a Mercedes and then driving away. That's right, a Mercedes.
Felt bad. I mean, there's a pregnant lady with a little boy and is down on her luck. The dad comes out on the weekends and stands with them.
She held a cardboard sign.
Please help.
And plenty of people did.
Lots of people give them money.
Smith said she was getting gas when she saw the couple at the usual spot.
They were leaving and I noticed they went into a Mercedes-Benz. And I thought, wow, a Mercedes-Benz?
She shook her head, got in her car and drove away.
Lo and behold, they were in front of us. And here they are, counting money, laughing. Their little boy's not in a car seat or a seatbelt. He's all the way in the front seats with them.
Smith watched them drive to another plaza on Bonita Road.
She sits there with the sign. He goes, parks the Mercedes, and they put up the sign, and not less than 5 minutes, Here she is, getting money from all these people.
Really got to keep up that grind, I suppose. Although I find it quite hard that you couldn't have any kind of a conscience through doing something like this. And especially, what kind of image does that really give your kid? You know, is that really being a good role model at the end of the day? Trying to teach your young kid to be responsible and a good person? I really don't think so. While searching this topic up, I was very surprised to see how many people just on YouTube alone that have been caught doing this kind of a thing. I would have thought it would personally be a pretty rare occurrence. People perhaps feeling too bad to do something like this, taking money away from people that really need it, while they fake and scam people like you and me and making us feel bad when there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. Now, one of these bystanders that saw her faking and getting into her Mercedes after the fact snapped some pictures of her and her child. How do you think this fake beggar responded to that?
She picks up this big boulder about this big, goes over her head, so I don't know if pregnant people can do that, but it was pretty big, over her head and coming at me with this rock.
Just a reasonable response then, I guess.
And takes off through the middle of the parking lot.
Police told Team 10 they did respond, but the couple had left. Smith gave Team 10 the license plate number 2. We ran the plates. The car came back belonging to a woman. Her address was listed here at this apartment complex in Encinitas. No answer. I left my card and a note to call me. We went in the evening and during the day. A woman called me back but said she had just moved in. The people living there had picked up and left. Smith said she wants people to know about this couple before they find a new place to panhandle with their son in tow.
I feel bad, like, don't give these people money. They don't need it. They're driving a Benz.
Damn, imagine being doxxed by the whole news team. I mean, good, I'm glad, but I'm really just hoping the fact that they learn their lesson after being exposed like that, especially by a news organization who found their home address and broadcasted pictures of them, especially in their car, counting money with the stories that went along with that. Honestly, it's pretty crazy. Now, in this next one, we have somebody that claims to be blind while taking welfare checks from the government. Although there's a slight problem with his story. See if you guys can see what that might be. No pun intended.
Here's John Caltabiano as the blind gentleman, chivalrous in an uncanny way for someone who might want the door held open for him instead.
This is not the guy we saw getting out of his car with his former girlfriend.
Absolutely not.
The investigation turns up that Caltabiano did in fact lose sight in one eye in a workplace incident, but no indication of the other being affected. Let's put it this way. Should a blind man be doing this?
So here you see the defendant driving a vehicle.
And look, he's even able to avoid running over that woman pushing a shopping cart.
All in all, very impressive stuff for being blind. Now, I don't know if my boy has a sixth sense, but I'm telling you what, that's some pretty good driving for being blind. And hell, he doesn't even have a blind stick outside the window to help him feel where he is. This is truly impressive stuff. So I actually did a little bit of background research in this type of stuff as well, to see if the government can spy on you if you are on disability welfare. And apparently they can, and well, like you just saw in that clip, they very much do. There's been countless stories like this where people claim to be blind and then eventually get caught through video surveillance where they capture videos of them like this one right here, driving around just fine. Now, Caltabiano was apparently on track to be making $1.3 million through this scam, collecting tax money that you and I pay for a disability that he doesn't have. 1.3 million. Obviously, he got caught before reaching that number, but that's not to say he didn't take home some money. And again, when you look in the courts as well, for when people scam organizations or even hell, the government, they never really seem to be punished to the full extent of the law and have to pay the full amount. We don't have to look very far to see that that's a very common occurrence with the last video I uploaded with this TikTok cancer faker who recently went to court a few weeks ago, even though she was told to pay back every penny. That was only from the GoFundMe, but not through charities and other ways of collecting that money, even though she said that she got private tips from other people on top of all of the things. And a lot of these people don't really feel bad, not until they get caught anyway. Now, there's another one on top of all of that with a man called Lawrence, who also is faking being blind, picking up welfare checks on the monthly. While claiming that he's blind, he's also going on really nice experiences expensive holidays, living the high life. But when being investigated to talk about how his life is now, pretending that he's still blind, he gives a very different type of story.
You can't do almost anything that you used to do.
No, my lifestyle has changed radically.
Do you declare, under penalty of perjury, that the information you've given me is true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Now, although Lawrence did have some issues with his eyesight from a while ago, he did say to the court that he would update them if anything seemed to have changed, whether that be his eyesight seems to improve or if he gets a job. Now, judging from the pictures that we saw earlier, him going on very nice holidays, I think, yeah, his eyesight seems to be pretty good, especially considering he's driving up to pick up the checks, which honestly seems very reckless to me. If you were going to do something like this, really drive to the place where you pick up your checks? That just sounds inherently dumb, and that's because it is.
This is kind of reliving it, so I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't need to do that to you.
It's gotta be done.
Now, that wasn't the only dumb thing that Lawrence did here. He actually tried to get his whole family on disability as well. When the IRS came after his ex-wife, that's when she decided to spill the beans on her ex-husband, who had been faking this eyesight disability for quite some time now.
Right.
Yes, Kimberly is indirectly responsible for helping to take down the bogus blind man. The tipping point when the IRS came after her, claiming she owed thousands in back taxes. It turns out Lawrence Pop had applied for benefits not just for himself, but for the entire family, and pocketed every dime.
Ultimately, you were the one who turned him in.
I wasn't going to take the fall for something he was doing that was illegal.
Hi there, sir. Rebecca Jarvis, ABC News. Are you sorry for stealing that money from taxpayers? Why did you lie in the interview? Why did you lie in the interview, sir?
Now, don't be fooled, because this type of stuff doesn't just happen in the US. I know it may seem like that with all the videos we watch. Inherently, I feel like apps like TikTok really help in that. But in other countries as well, you got to be on the lookout for certain scammers. They may look like they're in pain and not doing well in life, but you would be sadly mistaken. As you can see, these street beggars right here, who seem like they can't walk and they don't have any function in their legs, although that really couldn't be further from the truth, and they are scamming people and bystanders into feeling guilty for them as they take, once again, your hard-earned cash. Seems to be a very common occurrence. After taking your cash, they will almost skate away down the road, in which miraculously they stand up to count the money they just took from scamming people like you and me into thinking they can't walk. Who knew money was that powerful that it can literally cure you? Wow, what an amazing thing. Now, for our final one, we have a war veteran who claims that he is paralyzed and needs those welfare checks as he is unable to work, which obviously would be money well spent giving back to those that gave a lot for your country in the first place. But again, see if you guys can spot anything that might be slightly off with this person.
This was former Army Specialist Justin Presgorda 1 month ago, unloading long pieces of lumber inside the garage of his Dripping Springs home.
That's right, he's standing up, putting wood in the back of his truck with no issue at all, which is actually pretty concerning and very sad, because not too long ago, him and his wife actually went to a charity event in which the whole community supported him, thinking that he was in a wheelchair and paralyzed, and raised money for him.
Very happy or excited to be here today.
Neighbors, state dignitaries, and other wounded veterans greeted Presgorda as he, his wife, and their 2 daughters moved into a home with lowered countertops, wide hallways, and bathrooms specifically built to accommodate a person in a wheelchair. The home, appraised for more than $380,000, was built and paid for by the national nonprofit Homes for Our Troops.
Now, this one's extremely sad because I see a lot of people out there that really find it hard to live after serving their country. As I'm sure a lot of you guys have already heard, veterans don't exactly have it easy when they come back home. But right here, we have a person that doesn't need this type of treatment, and yet he has a house that accommodates, well, not his needs, in front of veterans that are also disabled. I don't understand how you can't have an ounce of regret or an ounce of even just any type of a conscience where you wouldn't feel bad or terrible in that situation. Now, there's so many cases like this. And again, like I stated earlier, I went onto YouTube and there's just countless videos like this. I know this is a little bit different from the types of videos that we do. I know we like to talk more along the lines of people that fake mental illnesses and cancer, but this isn't even that far off. And in my eyes, it's just as bad. Taking these resources away from people that actually need this type of help. If you guys would be interested, like I said, there's plenty more videos out there on the internet that I could compose, put together, and give you another sort of top 5 of people that didn't really turn out to be who everybody thought they were. If you find these types of videos interesting, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye bye.